This video will be spoiler free, as will all of the other videos this week up until launch. Hello, I'm back, I'm not dead, and I'm not going to be reviewing the game as such. Of course, there's a bit of a biased opinion because of all of the stuff that I've done over Anthem on YouTube, but also opinions vary so much that I wouldn't really want to add mine to it. With that said, if you want to hear my initial impressions of the game after playing a couple of days and getting max level and stuff, I've put it at the end of this video. But to answer the question, should you buy Anthem? If you're on the fence, then no. You should definitely wait a couple of weeks, a month or two perhaps. If you're on PC, then do get EA Premier Access is what I'd recommend. Just pay the £15 or $1 for a month. Try out the game, see how long you play, see if that's your kind of thing, and if you do enjoy it, then buy the game after that or continue on your subscription. I think it's much better to spend $15 more on a game that you're unsure about but end up enjoying than wasting $60 in total. But today we're more focusing on some pressing matters. It's fair to say that Anthem takes a lot of inspiration from Diablo on how it works with loot. Unfortunately, much like Diablo, there is exploits day one on how to get better gear. So today we'll go over how to do it. If you're one of those people that likes to trail through the mud to get better gear, then you'll absolutely love this. I tried it, hated it and stopped, but we'll go over exactly how to get decent Masterwork gear very quickly, the problem with that, but I also wanted to talk about the rep grind system within Anthem and the problem that it has there, especially when it comes to components. My name is Ryan Central. You can subscribe for more Anthem content, and we still have that giveaway going on for the Legion of Dawn edition of the game, as well as a standard copy being awarded to a runner-up. Sorry I haven't been around for the last couple of days. I've been rather unwell and just wanted to play the game. I'm now max level 30, done a main campaign, and I have a few Masterwork abilities and weapons that I got from doing missions. However, there is a much better way of being able to grind out gear, and it involves free play, chest farming, and Grandmaster free. The difficulty loot pool system is fairly straightforward to understand in Anthem. Basically, the higher difficulty that you play at, the more challenging it is, but the better the loot becomes. Fairly straightforward, right? You can't just go onto GM3 in the hopes of getting legendary and Masterwork gear, because all of the monsters and enemies there will just one-shot you if you're not careful. So, you have to climb your way up slowly but surely. But players have found a way around that, and it involves the chests that randomly spawn around the world. Lots of people worked out the pattern of where these chests spawned and sort of made a trail of how you could go around picking them up as you go along. Much like any game, right? People did this in World of Warcraft where it came to farming certain nodes to increase professions. Well, people have done this with the chests in Anthem 2. A-Run is just one of the ones that have done it and have basically shown you a way to travel around the map picking up as many chests as you possibly can. If you tried this on medium or hard, for the most part you pick up certain harvestable chimeric compounds and embers and the like, but there is a chance that gear will drop too. If you played it on medium or hard, this might be uncommon, rare or even epic, but because you've upped the difficulty to the highest one, there is a chance that you can get Masterwork drops from these chests. In fact, there's quite a high chance. If that sounds too good to be true, just running around the world picking up chests, getting free Masterwork items for very little effort, then it kinda is. The issue is, of course, with stuff like this, that lots of people know about it, therefore going into GM3 right now, trying to go for chests, everybody's basically doing that. You can see everybody following the same trail, and because of that, a lot of the chests that you do find are often opened. Not to mention that these chests aren't 100% going to be there all of the time. It's just a random spawn location, but you can keep rotating around this area and find a good amount of Masterworks. Me, unfortunately, I hated it when I tried it. I went around the map a couple of times, got very little, got a couple of chests but no Masterworks, but when you're on your own, it's very difficult when everybody else is fighting over the chests. And people do this in games anyway. Destiny had this, Diablo, as I mentioned, had this day one. There's always going to be ways to exploit the gear system to get better stuff. And also at the time of recording, BioWare have yet to make a statement on this at all, but knowing BioWare, they are aware of this and no doubt try to fix it as soon as they possibly can. But I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't want you to do this, as it just ruins the whole experience for everyone. And I agree, it's also really boring and dull to do, so just don't do it. But these kind of like loot exploits and generally how the loot works in Anthem is so finite and so high fidelity that the game could turn on its head because of this. With any luck, BioWare respond to this very quickly, much like they have with a lot of different topics, but you can understand the sort of point I'm trying to make. And it works both ways with how loot works in Anthem. And again, ideally I wanted to have this discussion another day with how loot, crafting, reputations work in the game, but with this loot exploit, it was the perfect time to sort of talk about this. For me personally, the loot curve has been really good, to be honest. Like, I got a couple of Masterworks as I leveled up. the pool of Masterworks was a lot smaller. I think in total it was 6 different Masterwork weapons and abilities that you could potentially get. But once you get into GM1, which I have been playing, it opens up a lot more, and I think every single mission I've had at least one Masterwork to bring back. A couple of them have been trash, but interesting to work with, and as you're gearing up, you'll take what you can get, right? But I know that others have not had the same good experiences. I saw Astacross's video, which I'll link in the description, talking about the loot problem, and he said that he was running GM2 strongholds, which took a hell of a long time because everybody's so bullet spongy, and at the end of it, he got nothing. He got more running around the world doing the stuff that I just mentioned, opening chests, than he did doing strongholds on a difficulty below. One is more challenging than the other, one rewarded a lot more than the other. So you can see the problem with the RNG system that Anthem has in place, which is why I do like the challenge system of getting rarities for weapons and abilities. The fact that you can unlock uncommon, rare, epic, and even masterwork blueprints of weapons by doing certain challenges. That as a system is great. It's amazing, if not a little bit generic. I sort of mentioned this on Twitter, but the whole do 4 world missions to unlock uncommon, then doing 8 to unlock rare, and then 16 I think for epic. You get the point. It gets very old very quickly. And for unlocking Masterwork components, I would like to see some more spicy missions and challenges thrown in there. Some getting very specific. For example, getting this Masterwork ability on a Ranger, you need to do Temple of the Scar on GM2 as a Ranger with that ability equipped. It's not too difficult, but it requires you to go to do something specific instead of doing world missions, which I think aren't the most interesting content in the game. However, that pales in comparison to what I'm about to mention now. And this is how the rep grind with components work, which to begin with is pretty okay, but once you get onto the Masterwork components, it gets a whole lot worse. I want to start with this image. Again, no spoilers here. This is the last bit of rep grinding that you need to do to unlock Masterwork components. Up until now, doing stuff for the Arcanists, the Sentinels, and the Freelancers provided you with different components and also sigils, which are consumables that you use on missions. But generally, you need to get 50,000 rep, which takes an awful long time for each of them to be able to unlock every single Masterwork component. I don't mind the long grind, really. It's more the fact that you unlock all of the Masterwork perks in one go. Maybe at this point in the story, with the amount of grinding that you've done, this will also become pretty irrelevant. This feels really like lazy and just really anticlimactic. Let's say that you want to make a specific build with the Gunslinger's Mark component. Well, your best chance of getting it is just grinding RNG out in the world in the hope to get it. You can't craft it unless you do this. But then you unlock the opportunity to craft anything that you want at this point, which again, I feel is just really anticlimactic. If I want to make a build, I want to go out into the game, do specific stuff in order to obtain it, much like the Ace of Spades in Destiny. If it's a weapon that I want to go through the specific feats in order to obtain it. Does that make sense? It's important that Anthem has a variety of being able to get RNG loot that might persuade you to run something else, but also enable you to craft and create specific abilities and weapons that will augment your setup. So this really worries me, and I hope that this is placeholder and does get changed in the future. So these were 2 main topics that I wanted to bring up as soon as I heard about them and really address my concerns, I suppose, when it comes to loot and progression in the game. But now I wanted to talk about my initial Anthem impressions after playing over the weekend, and overall I'd still say it's a good game, but man, it has some issues. It's quite jarring in a sense, somewhat disconnected from the experience, but as a person that's, you know, played a lot of Overwatch, where it is a case of you're sat in the menu, you press play, you go into a game, you come out of the game, you go back to a menu, but also in games like FIFA that I play and also seeing stuff like Dead by Daylight, that kind of feels how Anthem is. It's not an open world game, it's a set yourself up, look at your gear, look at your stats, go into a mission, play it, come back. Doesn't really have that open MMO feel that I feel to an extent was kind of promised. But with that said, the combat and the missions I'm having a lot of fun with. Variety and replayability is a big factor. Replayability I still think is there. I'm still playing similar if not the same missions with the same mission types, and I'm not getting bored of it, but I can certainly understand those that are. But for variety at this point in the game, granted we're only 3 days in, is still fairly short, and that's what I'm concerned about. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun in the game right now gearing up, but what's going to keep me playing once I get all of my characters to a good level that have a mix of legendaries and masterworks? What's going to realistically keep me playing a game? That's what I'm concerned about, but I feel that the devs know this and they need to act quickly. As I said, I didn't really want to spend too long giving my own impressions and opinion here. I can certainly understand those that are really effectively shitting on the game. There's some really good points made, but also I can understand that people are saying, hey, I'm having a great old time. The loading screens are a bit annoying, but I'm still having lots and lots of fun, and will continue to do so. The foundations of an excellent, amazing game for Anthem is there. That's all I really care about at this point, but BioWare need to now balance putting out new content to keep people interested, new variety in ways that players will remain invested in the story and keep playing the game Anthem, versus quality of life features that realistically should have been in the game at launch, and some of them will be. But from speaking to the devs myself and EA and BioWare, they're very much up for the challenge. They knew that it might be a rocky start and are thus prepared to deal with a lot of feedback that they're getting and to make Anthem a lot better. They can only go up from here, which is the good news. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do let me know what kind of content that you want to see in the comments below for the rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Take care and see you soon.